Hello, this is the RPGPundit, the final boss in internet shitlords. This is going to be my third and final attempt to making a video today. First time I tried, somebody phoned me, which cuts off. Every time someone calls me, it cuts off my video feed. I've told people repeatedly, please do not send me unsolicited phone calls. And yet somehow it always happens. And then the second time I ran out of battery. So now I've charged it up. We're running out of light. It was beautiful earlier. Now it's already getting quite a little bit darker here, but it's still visible enough. Also, my cats used to be outside. Now they've retreated indoors. Hey, come on out here. Where are you guys? No sign of them. How useless. Damn it. Anyway. Wait. It's a meatball. Hey, meatball. Good job. You came when called. Look at that. Look at that. You came when called. What a good kitty you are. You're the best kitty. Yes, you are. What a great kitty. All right. So today I'm doing a video with Meatball here helping me out. She's so good. Isn't she a great kitty? She, which is actually, I've been desperately trying to make this video about some promising news. Okay, and I'm going to keep it really short because this has been a disaster every time I've tried. So I'm going to do this as absolutely briefly as possible. Some of you guys might have seen that on the weekend, Aaron the Pedantic, who's got his own channel, it's a very good channel. He's almost at 1,000 subscribers now. He made a video. He made a live stream, and I happened to have gotten the YouTube notice at a moment where I wasn't doing anything, so I went on to watch it. I commented on the chat. And then at a certain moment, he starts getting some guest stars on. And one of his first guest stars is this guy called Prince of Nothing. And Prince of Nothing is someone who was for many, many years active in a virulent anti-OSR site known as YDIS, or Your Dungeon is Suck, where they would attack the OSR in general. And then they would also, these acrobatics here, they would also specifically go after certain of the people that were, luminaries of the OSR, as it were. And specifically within those, it tended to be the ones that supported free speech. Interesting, right? So, they would viciously attack me, Grim Jim, James Raggy, Eric Tenkar, also some of the original old school guys like Menser, and other guys. I'm sure that they went after all the old TSR guys to a certain extent. Even Gygax, who was dead, they would brutally insult him. They did Photoshop pornographic images with him and stuff like that. It was just a grotesque anti-OSR trolling site motivated by hatred of grognards, I guess. He had been a very prominent poster there for a very long time. Prince of Nothing, And Prince of Nothing was specifically a poster who was dedicated to attacking me and had posted an enormous amount of very aggressive and inaccurate stuff about me with the intent to harm me and my place in the OSR, as it were. And of course, as having seen him on this chat, on this live stream, in the chat, I started calling him out on it. I point out because he had been recently going on to the OSR, trying to act as if he'd never been a part of something like this, and trying to act like he was a big OSR fan. And so I told everybody his history, and of course, this was a bit of a problem. I do apologize to Aaron because I kind of derailed his show. Not totally. He mostly recovered, but I just, I wasn't going to back down, right? And so at first they kind of tried to ignore me, and then Aaron had to address it, and then Prince of Nothing tried to kind of deny it, and then Aaron proposed that to do a debate in some future live stream. I think mostly was trying to get me to stop, right? Because after he said, no, I don't think that debate would actually do any good. He said to me in private. And so I went after him for this, like I go after anybody that has been anti-D&D or anti-OSR, and then later, for what I assume are mercenary reasons of personal profit or fame, decide to become supporters of the OSR, but instead of actually owning up to what they did before, which would be fine, right? They instead try to pretend like that never happened, like they've always been great supporters. Ron Edwards being a perfect example, guy who crapped all over D&D for 20 years, was the leader of the anti-D&D story gaming movement, claimed that D&D caused literal brain damage and was akin to child abuse. And then when the Forge collapses and his indie games he knows they're going nowhere, and the OSR is really at its peak of popularity at that time, he goes in there and just starts acting like he's an OSR guy, and then in fact makes these outrageous claims like he invented the OSR, and the OSR exists because of him, and he was always a huge fan of D&D, and that's complete bullshit. So anytime I see Ron Edwards, I call him out on it, very publicly. And, I've done the same thing also for people who've had certain bad behaviors in the OSR, like James Malazewski, who ripped off a whole bunch of people, then laid low for a year or two, and then started to come back and acted like nothing had happened. I remind people of what had happened, and I made it very clear that I was going to do that here with Prince of Nothing. Now, the thing is, I was never, I always have hope for redemption, believe it or not. This is getting a little too racy, Meatball. I'm going to turn away the camera there. I always have hope for people's redemption. But I never kind of expect it to really happen, right? But then after this live stream, I get the first thing that I got for Prince of Nothing was an email. I think Venger gave me my email without asking, but it's okay. I don't really care. And the email was kind of sort of aggressive, let's say. I wouldn't say threatening exactly, but sort of intimating that he was going to do stuff to me if I keep trying to cause him trouble in the OSR or something like that, And at the same time, though, I kind of read something in it, and in all of his attitude that I'd seen more recently, that suggested to me that maybe this guy really isn't just, he's not necessarily in it for the money or something like that. He's really interested. He really likes the OSR, and that at some level he knows what he's done wrong, having been a part of this cancer group, and having spent years harassing all kinds of people in the OSR through that group, of course. And he just, he was just trying to keep it under wraps because he didn't know what else to do about it, right? And it also became very clear in this email that he wrote that he essentially didn't believe me when I said, because I'd said in the chat that he should apologize, right? And that he, if not to me, because sometimes it's hard for someone to eat that much crow to issue a personal public apology to an individual, but if not to me, then at least to the OSR as a whole, and he needs to denounce your Dungeonists suck, right? And I think it became clear in his response, in his letter to me, that he didn't believe that would help, because he assumed that I would take it the way, like SJWs do. And SJWs demand that you apologize. It's because then that proves your admission of guilt, and then they can destroy your life and career, and stuff like that, right? But that's because SJWs are psychopaths, right? Because they're monsters who don't actually believe in anything. If you're a person with principles, then you have to believe in the possibility of redemption, right? And so I had told him, I responded to this letter, and I had told him basically what I just said about all of that, and that sincerely, if he gives a sincere and honest, not equivocal apology, then I will consider that our conflict is done, right? And he's welcome to be in the OSR. Because that's all that it requires. It requires that it shows you've changed, not that you haven't changed and just have a different agenda, right? So I tried my best to make it clear, and I wasn't expecting it to work. But as it turns out, I think it was yesterday, on Prince of Nothing's blog, he posted an apology, a public apology to the OSR, and a denunciation of his former affiliation to your Dungeonists Suck, and recognized, like he went into quite a lot of detail, he recognized that he went back and looked over the stuff that they had done and the way that they posted and things they said about people and how they were trying essentially to destroy people's reputations. and making very vicious attacks against people. And, you know, like, I can take any number of vicious attacks, right? Like, that was one of the funny things about his letter to me, his email to me, where it's like, oh, you know, you better watch out, I'm going to fight back or something. Well, I mean, dude, you've been trying to destroy me for 8 years, you know? And you haven't, so you're not going to now, right? But it was something where if there are some people who obviously can be more affected by that, right? And like, so for example, you know, Grim Jim, we have our differences, but he's a very, very nice guy, very kind person, but also a very sensitive person, and someone who he's very public about this, suffered from depression and had suicidal episodes, right? So, you know, if you're viciously attacking me, it's something that pisses me off, right? Of course, right? It pisses anyone off, right? To a certain degree, but it's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna do anything serious to my mental well-being, right? Because especially because I've been doing this for 20 years now, dude. You know, I mean, I don't think there's a lot you can do to me that hasn't been tried already, you know? But when you do it to somebody who's you know, who's openly and publicly made it clear that he's sort of psychologically fragile, you know, like that's just the worst kind of bullying, you know. But so he went and he posted, Prince of Nothing on his blog, posted a very unequivocal apology. And I really wanted to get this video out because I wanted to make it clear that in fact, I am keeping my part of this. I'm making it very clear that I have no qualms, no issues with Prince of Nothing now, because he's actually redeemed himself. He's not a guy who had spent a bunch of time, you know, in the secret police and then turns around and pretends he was always in the resistance, right? He's a guy who was a persecutor of the OSR, and then on the road to Damascus, he's seen the light. And that's what you want, right? That redemption is the thing that tells you that this person is okay, you know? And I mean, of course, some people can pretend to be redeemed, you know, I've been saved by the Lord, now give me your money or something like that, right? But that ends up being shown in what they do after too. But we have to be willing to give at least some benefit of the doubt, to give them a chance, right? And I have no reason to think, based on how he said it, that he was being insincere in this case. So I am going to give Prince of Nothing every benefit of the doubt. That's it for today. Stay tuned. I'm about to get my Invisible College books, and also World of the Last Sun. So expect some reviews coming up here pretty soon. And if you want to support me, well, check out, you know, be sure to subscribe if this is the first time you've seen me here. If you haven't subscribed yet, like the video, share the video anywhere you want to, especially in OSR circles, so people can know about this. And I think it's a good news story, you know. And if you want to support me, you can obviously send me money on Patreon or PayPal, but check out all my products. Yeah, that's a great way to support me, because you get something from it too, right? You get something back from it. Not just that I'll keep doing videos and keep, you know, fighting the fight and what have you, but you'll literally get products in your hands that are good, right? Or products on your screen in the case of my PDF series. So check out all the links in the description to all my different products, you know, World of the Last Sun, Lion and Dragon, Dark Albion, Star Adventurer, and of course the Invisible College, Cults of Chaos, and all of my RPGPundit Presents series. I mean, you can get a product of mine for $1.99, and it'll be short but good. It'll have a lot of good stuff in it, and it's like, you know, you're not even getting me a coffee at that point, but it's like you're buying me a candy bar, but you're getting something for yourself too, right? And so you know, I like that. So yeah, be sure to check out all of my stuff, all my products, and that's, I think, the measure of what a person contributes to the OSR. That's everything for today. Currently smoking Lorenzetti Volcano plus what is this, Blue Boar. Say goodbye, Meatball. Goodbye, Meatball. Psst. Hey. Goodbye, Meatball. Thank you for showing up, Meatball.